I'm Michael Poliakoff, President of the American Council of Trustees and Alumni. We have a remarkable program ahead, which I am as eager as you are to hear, so I will keep this introduction as short as possible. I'd like to remind audiences that the name ACTA has a double meaning. It does, of course, stand for the American Council of Trustees and Alumni, but it is also a Latin word that means things that have been accomplished. Making meaningful improvements in American higher education is ACTA's goal, and working toward ACTA, things that have been done well, is our guiding light. The challenges are real and they are growing, but we have available solutions. It is a question of being informed and taking meaningful action. And there is no time to waste. A Gallup poll released on Tuesday shows that the percentage of Americans with significant confidence in higher education has dropped in the last 3 years from 57% to 48%. Confidence in higher education now ranks below that of the military, of small business, and the police. We're going to start with a panel on campus freedom of expression. As I am sure an ACTA audience knows, 2017 was a bad year for freedom of expression on campus, and 2018 has also been grim. In March 2018, protesters disrupted and cut short the speech of AEI fellow Christina Hoff Sommers. The irony is overwhelming. This all happened at the law school of Lewis and Clark. One might think that a law school would be preeminently the place where controversy is aired in an orderly and objective way. In a few moments, Paul Levy will give us an even more chilling example of how these expectations of a law school are nowadays defeated. The vigorous but civil dialogue on which our free society's future rests is imperiled. Again, the terrible irony. In February of this year, at University of Virginia, Mr. Jefferson's University, the Hillel Association sponsored a program called Building Bridges to take up the thorniest questions and controversies of the Middle East in a civil dialogue. Protesters disrupted the event and would not leave until removed by the campus police. In response to ACTA's admonition to the Board of Trustees, the Board of Visitors, that the punishment for such behavior needs to be severe to deter repetition in the future, came from the President the coy response that such matters are protected by privacy. That's not true, and we are staying on this. There are significant problems in higher education, but the remedies and the path to them are now before us as never before. Complaining about the shortcomings accomplishes relatively little. The pessimist only has the sad consolation of feeling right. This conference is about turning things around. That is why today you will hear from Paul Levy about the betrayal of free speech and what trustees need to do to stop it. You'll hear about the legal and ethical arguments for freedom of speech from Nadine Strawson and Eugene Volokh. And you will hear from April Lawson about the Better Angels Project, which gives students experience in reasoned and civil exchange of ideas on controversial issues. Let me correct your agenda. Alas, David Blankenhorn took ill, but his extremely able colleague April Lawson is with us, fresh off a brilliant program at American University that had 80 students talking about the thorny issue of right to health care. And now, with the help of active board members, one by one, we are seeing colleges, at least 47 as of now, adopt the Chicago principles of freedom of expression or a substantially similar statement. And we have much more on our 2019 agenda to bring higher education back to first principles, among which the free exchange of ideas is foremost. Please be sure to take a copy of ACTA's newest publication, Guarding the Freedom to Speak, Freedom to Hear, on the American College Campus, authored by our Council of Scholars member, Professor Joyce Lee Malcolm. Our network of 23,000 trustees will receive this in the coming weeks. And some very good breaking news. With us today is Provost Dave Dowdy of Christopher Newport University, which, in addition to its Perfect A core curriculum, is now in the process of becoming the latest school to promulgate a strong and magnificent set of principles for freedom of expression. In progress, everything looking great. David, would you please stand so we can recognize you? ACTA has long warned about the exploding cost of attending college. The second panel will speak directly to the question of how colleges and universities spend money and how they can operate under the guidance of focused leadership with maximum effectiveness. You will hear from top university leadership, Senator Hank Brown, Provost Mark Searle, Board Chair Jan Sullivan, on ways that this can happen. And you will hear about a project led by ACTA's Armand Alekbey that will make detailed information on spending patterns available not just to policymakers, but to the public as never before. We intend to democratize the dialogue about how the money of students, parents, grandparents, and taxpayers is being used. In a 2014 survey, the last large-scale one of its type, only 11% of business leaders strongly agreed with the statement that recent graduates have the necessary skills and competencies to succeed in the workplace. But, again, the irony, since 2011, year after year, over 84% of provosts believe that their institutions were in good or excellent academic health. That credibility gap between college and employer needs to close. A recent Bureau of Labor research paper documents an important workforce truth. Even graduates in the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, will find their career trajectories limited without the ability to grow and adapt. In other words, the liberal arts. That is why, for the 10th consecutive year, we have produced What Will They Learn? Just out this week, which is why my colleagues look a little exhausted, it is before you in your folders. We analyzed the core curriculum requirements of over 1,100 colleges and universities, and we assigned grades A through F according to the strength of those requirements, and we don't do grade inflation, as you'll notice as you peruse the document. But we applaud and celebrate those institutions: Christopher Newport University, Colorado Christian University, Bluefield College. With us today, please stand. Represented here today for their intentional, meticulous work, earning an A core curriculum to ensure that their graduates are prepared not just for work in a specific field, but to be thoughtful, engaged citizens with a curious, broadly trained intellect that puts them on the winning side of a global, dynamic workplace. It is no light task to get an academic community to come together and determine what the foundational body of knowledge and skills is that characterizes a well-prepared college graduate. This year, we have built a database of over 37,000 college guidance counselors so that in collaboration with them, we can help high school seniors choose wisely, finding a college that builds, through its core curriculum requirements, a community of high academic standards and the unfettered exchange of ideas. At lunch, ACTA will have the honor of presenting the Jerry L. Martin Award for Excellence in Trusteeship to Paul Levy, and hearing from him and from Columbia University Professor of Law, Philip Hamburger, on why freedom of speech remains an urgent issue and how we can move forward to protect it and to foster it. Our Fund for Academic Renewal, FAR for short, is one of the tools by which donors can use their generosity to support the programs that advance academic excellence and the free exchange of ideas through intentional, targeted philanthropy. Instead of the blank check option for college donations, FAR for the third year, through the generosity of the Diana Davis Spencer Foundation and under the leadership of ACTA's Jackie Pfeffer Merrill, FAR is able to help donors advance their values and protect their intentions. Please do join us after lunch for a special panel discussion of this new initiative. ACTA has accomplished much this past year, and we are grateful to our supporters, many of whom are with us today. But there will be no resting on the ACTA, the things that we have thus far accomplished. We have much more to do together with our partners at colleges and universities around the nation.